Oh, wow. Everything around me is red because I'm feeling very villainous on what was otherwise a less than optimally villainous episode. But hello, villains, and welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy, say something gay, and for some reason, it is late night and I am drinking an energy drink. I honestly don't know why, but I am. It's vanilla blackberry flavored, and it's very nice. Shout out to Otter Energy, not sponsored, but I really wish I was.
You really could. We should be sponsored by somebody. Somebody needs to sponsor
Right,
us. Like, come on
right. That'd be
now.
nice.
That'd be
That'd be really
great.
nice.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Lana, your resident evil diva. And I'm here to give a teaspoon of tea and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Her. I didn't grab anything to drink because honestly it's late and I didn't really go grab anything. And I'm gonna go have dinner after this, so I'd rather just wait till then. So there's that. But I do have my cup mug just in case I do get thirsty. Ooh. Panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Beer, 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 beer. Ooh. And you can get your cup mug or any of our cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And we do ship internationally. So there are no excuses. Well, there's some excuses. If your country's on fire, or underwater, then there are some excuses, and we give our sincere thoughts and prayers to you and yours and your family. We hope that you are safe and that everyone comes out of this better than they were before they started. Well, I hope they just come out better. I hope they just come out safe and well and a lot and back to a place of normalcy. And once you get to that place of normalcy, how about this? Celebrate by getting some cup merch. Period. Bring it right at you.
Well, I have to say, I think this was the most underwhelming episode of the season so far.
So far, it was, yeah. I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't get what I was expecting. So, if that even makes sense, it started out really good. The season has started out very good, and it was
Yes.
a lots of different twists and turns and different things. I'm like, oh, I like. And after such a fiery hit list ceremony or whatnot, I was expecting it to be a little bit more fiery this week, and it was not. So, but still enjoyable. I will say that.
Yeah.
But
we'll talk about the couple of things that we have to say about this episode.
Yeah.
Before we do, though, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things competitive reality TV. And make sure to check out the description below where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, and our Patreon for exclusive content and early access. So, we come back after Camilla has made her hit list nominations. Victoria had her cock. And we are currently sitting with Safari, Hatch, and Jesse on the hit list. Jesse's pissed.
As he should. Because Victoria pulled that out of nowhere. Like, she just pledged her undying loyalty to Wes and Jesse, but I guess that only meant Wes.
To Wes.
And that just showed to Jesse is like it's only Wes that you have sold your undying love to. So, okay, great.
Whatever. And I will say my favorite part about Victoria in this episode is when she is talking to Tiffany the next morning and does not realize that Tiffany has clearly switched her wigs. Like, I thought this girl was annoying and a dipshit on The Bachelor, and I'm slowly coming to realize, no, she is just an idiot.
She's just annoying. Like, I really want to hope this is all an act from her, but I'm starting to believe that this is just who she is. And if that's who she is, ew.
That's really unfortunate.
Ew. Ew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not because she didn't notice the wig switch, because a lot of um palm colored people don't realize when we switch up the hair, and sometimes it's wigs, sometimes it's weave, sometimes it's our natural hair, and they don't realize it because they don't really have to pay that much attention, because that's the privilege that they have, and that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to notice that. But yeah, it's always funny for me to see black girls doing black girl magic things with their hair,
Mhm.
and and people who are non-black have to, what, did you do something to your hair? Like, what you do? Like, it's different. Yeah, it's a wig. I can change it in a moment's notice, but it's fun. But that wasn't
Oh,
too egregious for me.
no,
That wasn't egregious, because the
no,
egregious stuff comes later on in the episode for me, for her.
Lord Jesus.
But
Um, we get Wes and Camila. Why do I always want to say her name wrong? I don't know. Wes and Camila talking. Camila's trying to bury the hatch, not with
hmm
Hatch, but with Wes.
hmm
And Wes, I'm happy that Wes realizes, okay, no, in the short term, I think I do need Camila on my side,
hmm
but in the long term, no,
yeah,
no.
no.
And that's all that conversation. That's all that happened in that
I mean,
conversation.
she was trying to do some damage control, and like look as like, I'm making strategic moves here just to show people we're not aligned, but we are. And I knew two people were going to come back in this house, and so I had all the faith in you that you would be able to either get off the hit list or have the votes to stay. And Wes made it. I mean, and that's a good point, because he did the same thing when he was coming up with his strategy on a Safari's hit list and everything. It's like, some people, you got to put some people up there who you don't mind going, but then the person you need to go, and Wes knows in order to shield people in this kind of game, what, these people are not that smart. They're not that bright. They're not that strategic. So he could literally run circles around a bunch of them and probably could have won that challenge. I think when we'll talk about the challenge, he probably would have won that challenge anyway and got himself off the hit list for sure.
Oh yeah.
But it's just, I understand where he's coming from. Like, you smoke bombs, not bombs. And I was like, that's a good way to put it, Wes. But I do think, I'm glad that he does recognize, like, yeah, I'm gonna go after her eventually, but not right now, because right now I kind of need her to be around, and then I can get her out later, and that'll be great. I still think West is going to do some damage in this game if they let him stay, but I don't know how long they gonna let him stay, because I think everybody's recognizing it.
And there were some conversations, not to jump ahead, but there were a lot of
Mm-hmm.
conversations throughout this episode of, no, Wes is controlling the game. We need to weaken Wes. And
Yep.
ultimately, what did they do? Not at all whatsoever weaken Wes.
Absolutely.
I honestly think if Wes makes it past the next 2 eliminations, he wins this game.
I can see
And
that.
if he makes it there, props to him. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
props to him. Like, I really, because in the end game, those comps do get a little bit more physical and a little bit more mental, and he is the best competitor in this season.
Yep.
Not by far, because Jesse's right there with him, but I don't know.
I
I
think
don't want
Wes
this
is more
season to be
all
a
around.
Wes. Yeah.
Jesse's good at physical stuff, but I don't know how his mental game is. But yeah,
I mean,
I
it
don't
might have
know.
improved from
It might
his
have
Big Brother
improved since
season.
Big
Who
Brother.
knows? But then we get this whole weird situation with Candy and Victoria, where Victoria is talking about wanting to use the money for like opening a Pilates studio
Mm-hmm.
and paying off tickets that she has. And like, honestly, I don't. And Candy then goes and tells
Camila.
Camila,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there was one other person there. I don't remember who was there. I don't see those as negative reasons for
No.
wanting to be there.
Oh, absolutely.
And nor do I think Candy thought about them in a negative
No.
way.
No.
I think Candy is just bored and
Yeah.
trying to, I don't know, stir up drama, have conversation. Like, I really don't know what Candy's. It's so interesting seeing Candy in this show because for me, it feels like Candy thinks she is playing the game harder and doing smarter moves than she actually is. But
Mm-hmm.
then on the flip side of that, she's really good at damage control.
Here's what I think. I think Candy heard this conversation, and I don't think she took it as a negative why she was, why Victoria wanted the money. Because paying off tickets and opening a Pilates studio is good things. The Pilates studio will help her make money. So just in case she get
Yeah.
more tickets, she'll have money to pay them off this time. But I think Candy is, like you said, she's a little bored. And I also think Candy talking to Camila, they just feel like they have I think they just feel comfortable with each other. So it's more like, okay, we bored, let's gossip. Guess what I just heard? She just said that she wanted to start a Pilates studio and she want to pay off these parking tickets. And so that's what she told use the money for, just what I heard. And it wasn't a bad thing. It was just we just bored, needed to talk about something in this house.
Right.
And we had a conversation. It's like, oh, she just said Victoria she want to use the money for a Pilates studio and some tickets. And then when Victoria hears this, she's like, now people talking about me behind my back like it's a bad thing. No, baby, we just saying what you said because we heard it. And it's a conversation that we were having about, we were talking about you, but what you said, nothing I said was malicious or behind, or like in a negative way towards you. It was just repeating what you said. And I think Victoria thought that they were talking about her financial situation. And like you are saying that I'm broke, which, baby girl, you said you was broke yourself. So look, welcome to the broke world. I'm broke too, baby. We all broke because this economy is breaking all of us. But it's okay. She took it as you were being mean about it and talking about me behind my back, and they were just having a conversation like what we just heard. And so Victoria confronts Candy about it, and it's like, I thought we were good, but you talking about me behind my back, and And Candy was like, "What, girl? I ain't talking about you behind your back. I'm just saying what I heard." And I don't know. I think Victoria likes to do this thing where she'll get jump bad in somebody's face, and then when they jump bad back at her, then she's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like, if you can dish your baby girl, you better know how to take it.
And she can't. That's the problem.
Can't at all, all.
Oh, at
and
all.
Throughout this whole episode, it shows that she cannot give or take as much as she gives at all. Yeah. And so she want to jump bad, but then cries about it and want people to take pity on her. So it's a pattern that I've seen with her on the show, and it's starting to be very irritating. It's starting to be very irritating.
And then it extends to her talking about like being car sick. And mind you, as someone who gets car sick, I do understand why she put her foot down. And she was like, because I have a really hard time sitting in a backseat too. I didn't find myself resonating so much with Victoria in this episode, but I guess I did.
I mean, my sister Nisha, my sister gets car sick. She can't sit in the back, and I tell her, I'm like, don't put her in the back seat at all. Like, no, or unless she's on a long trip and she can lay down. That's the only way she could sit in the back, because she gets car sick. So I'm like, I get it, and I understand, and I don't think anybody was doubting she was car sick. It was the literal fact that Candy said, I literally can't fit in the back seat.
Like Candy's a big ass man.
Big man. Like, can't sit and fit in the back seat.
Like, why couldn't Tiffany swap with her?
Larsa was on the other side and said, I too get car sick. So I can't
Uh-huh.
sit in the back. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
Larsa was in the other seat and Candy was going to sit in this seat. But not Tiffany, Victoria wanted Candy to move because she needed to
She's
sit
friends
in
with
that
Larsa.
seat. She needed to sit in
And
that
she needs
seat.
to, yeah.
But Candy was like, I can't sit in the back because there's no room for me in the back. I can't physically fit in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And Victoria is like, that doesn't matter to me. So I'm like, both of them are right in this situation, and both of them, but Victoria is wrong in this situation because you can't tell someone who physically can't sit there to go there. You can sit in the middle on the back seat. Could ask Tiffany to move over so you can sit in that middle. But so you can be close to the front.
Mm-hmm.
But either way it go, you sitting in the back seat because it's two people, it's two seats in the front. The driver's seat
Right.
and the passenger seat that you can't sit in because that's where the cameraman go.
Yeah.
But you don't have a problem with sitting in that. That's the back, still the back seat. But okay, all right, okay.
Just for none of it to matter and them all to get out of the car minutes later. Which I
Because
love about this show.
it drove off and came back to the house and was like, oh wait, the place isn't ready for us yet. So, and Candy was like, good, because I'm not sitting in the riding in the car with that stupid bitch.
I loved it. I love it. Casting Candy on this show is one of the best things they've ever done, honestly. Because Candy is just reality TV gold. She really is. Like,
Oh,
I want Candy. I want Candy on Traitors next. I want Candy on season 4 of Traitors.
I would
'Cause
love
I
to
think Candy
see
would
her
do
on
so
Traders.
good. I think Candy would do so good. Anyway, we go to our redemption challenge hosted by Bobby Light.
Yes. Bobby said, am
Featured
I
actor for the rest of the episode, Bobby Lights.
right? Bobby says, am I late for the season 1 finale? I said, you're
He
so dumb.
better.
You're
He
so dumb.
better. I loved
Loved,
it.
loved it.
I
Loved it
hope that
so
we
much.
continue to get all these cameos from season 1 people. I think that's I think that's honestly how they could have incorporated New York into this season. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie to you.
honestly, she
Instead
did.
of giving her spot to somebody else.
Because
But hey,
she really ain't add nothing to the show right now. I'll be honest.
no, she really isn't. And that's the surprising thing is she added so much
Mm-hmm.
on season 1 that like
She's not giving this
no,
season
she's
yet.
not giving at all. Everyone around her is giving,
Mm-hmm.
minus Teresa, who is
Right? Who's giving
literal
nothing?
furniture.
Give
Teresa is
us
literal
nothing,
furniture
girl.
at this
Give
point.
us nothing, girl.
At least Larsa in the 1.5 episodes that she's
At
been
least
in
gave us something.
has given something. I don't like the bitch, but she's giving. So hey,
Here's the thing. This is House of Villains. I want everybody in this house to be a villain and be showing they tail.
well, it looks like we might get a little bit from Teresa next week, and I'm excited
We
about
might
it.
be, and I'm
I think
ready for it.
ready,
And New York.
ready. Ooh, I'm ready. I'm ready. But yeah, so our 3 guys have to go through a electrified maze, blindfolded, to get their blow up doll out of the middle with someone guiding them.
Yep.
And that's a sentence I never thought I would say, but here we are.
It happened.
Safari picks Wes, which I think was a great idea, except
Absolutely.
for the fact that Safari is horrible at challenges, except for the fact that he won the first one. Jesse decides to put his faith in Larsa
because he knew nobody else would do it. Like he had no relationship. Victoria put him up. Tiffany is a fan of Safari. Teresa,
Wes
like
is
we
already
said,
chosen.
furniture. Wes is gone.
And Hatch
Candy's
chose Candy.
gone. Right, Candy's gone. So he had no one else to put his faith in.
Camilla, and Larsa didn't do him that bad.
Larsa didn't do him bad at all. Because he
wins.
Won.
By job, 6 seconds.
6 seconds. By 6 seconds. Oof. It has to hurt. It has to sting.
So, of course, we now have Safari and Hatch up for elimination. And I will say, oh, I forgot to mention my favorite part of this episode. When they're driving there and Tiffany, unprovoked this time, just calls Richard Hatch a putrid asshole. I love it. Her vocabulary is incredible to me. I love it. I love it. Just the way that she could just read a bitch, but does it in such a like it's like she has a thesaurus living in her brain, and she can just pull out all of these beautiful adjectives to just describe. I love the way Tiffany reads people. I do. I always have. But yes, Safari and Hatch are up, and this conversation basically comes down to: are people gonna support Safari, or are they just not able to stand Rich? And going into the elimination, honestly,
I had no idea.
had no clue.
No idea.
I do love that Richard had all of his it was the posse of the gays. He had Candy and Bobby.
Not the gay posse.
To keep him safe and to keep him in the game. And then in the elimination, we get this cliffhanger, and I thought this was going to be so good.
I was ready for the goopery and gaggery. I was ready for it.
I was ready for the goopery and the gaggery because he starts by saying, I can't stand any of you, like New York did in season 1. And I was like, oh, he's about to goop Miss New York to her face. And it's going to be iconic and legendary. And then it was nothing of the sort. Someone lied to him and said he was fly, hot, and sexy, and he's none of that. He's nothing of the sort. Because then he just stumbles into this weird tangent.
Talking about some in the house of villains, we supposed to expect stuff like that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are you saying? You should have went in there saying, I don't care about none of you people. Do what you got to do. This is the house of villains. And if you came here to make friends, you can F yourself. And I would have went into a tangent.
Yeah.
And then if you go out like.
And if he had said anything else other than what he said, I think he might have stayed. Because then Safari pops up with his damn fake crying.
I love y'all. Each and every one of y'all, we made a connection. I just feel like we connected in the house, and I want to be here, and I love y'all.
I didn't make friends here.
No. Dry.
The way Victoria and then Tiffany and then Camila clocked his ass.
And then
boom,
Wes.
Boom, boom. I loved it.
Just all laughing. Everybody's laughing. And he was just like, and then Tiffany said, he's crying, but it's the dry ones. I was like,
dry ones.
So crazy. Like, wild. But
we go to the vote, and then we see everything that happened this episode, which I will say, I'm not mad at this editing either, because I do love a little flashback moment, and we find out that all the women earlier in the day have been talking about keeping Safari and getting rid of Rich, and a unanimous vote sends our Richard Hatch out of the game. And with that, his torch has been snuffed for the first time in his reality TV career.
Sorry, Rich. You just...
And since we watched it, I've been going back and forth on whether I think this is a good move from Candy. And ultimately, I do think it's a good move from Candy.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm thankful. Who was it that told Candy? Was it Victoria?
Probably.
Somebody clued Candy that the
in.
Votes were not for Rich. And I'm glad that they did. Camila was gagged that it was unanimous. And I know why Camila was gagged. And I hope Candy can do some damage control with Camila at the start of the next episode. And I don't blame Candy for it. It just sucks.
I mean, honestly, it's really not a whole lot of damage control I feel like she needs to do. She just got to be like, girl, the votes were all for him. All the women were voting for him. There was no saving him. And if I was to be the only one to put my vote on him, that'd be crazy. So, I think Camila understand that. And I think Candy had to go tell Jesse as well, like the votes are just not there, because Jesse was gung ho and ready to vote out Safari because Jesse wanted to weaken West, which that was smart, but he didn't have the people on his side to do that. So it was smart for Candy and Jesse to both just vote out Richard and be like, it is what it is at this point.
So Rich is gone.
Rich is gone.
I'm sad about it, but he did it to himself.
He did it to himself. That last speech was ridiculously stupid.
But we get a preview for next week. They're very on theme.
Yes.
Doing a little election shenanigans. And it looks like we're going to get Teresa and Tiffany fighting, and I am personally very excited for it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So I hope so, because both of them need to step it up, or they both could go, because they have not been giving what needs to be given in this House of Villains season 2. Everybody else has had their villainous moments. I need them to have theirs now.
I want a table flipping moment from Teresa. That's all I want.
This is the only show where I'm rooting for the fights. Like, I'm rooting for the fights. Because, like, usually I'm like, we don't really need any fight. I'm rooting for the fights. I want to see the villains be villains, because why you call yourself a villain if you're not gonna be a villain? I would never be on House of Villains because I don't do villainous things, and I don't consider myself a villain. But if I do happen to get on House of Villains, I'm gonna make sure I'm a villain. I'm gonna make sure I'm a villain. Why would I call myself a villain if I'm not gonna do some villainous stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you go out, you go out, but you go out as a villain. Period.
Right. And that's where we're going to leave off for now. So thank you for joining us for this lovely, wonderful, and fantastic, cute little recap of House of Villains. Let us know all your thoughts down in the comments below. And make sure to check out the description after you subscribe, like, and share. Thank you very much, because we got a lot of content here. Check out the description where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, because we are pumping out content weekly for y'all. As well as our Patreon, our social media links, and where you can get your merch, including but not limited to cup mug. And with all that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. So, cheers, villains.
Cheers, villains.